Let's see if we can get all the way to the end here. We've got a lot of numbers that are truncated here. These are loans, so if we go back, the student loan truncates. Obviously, the children at some point, you don't have to pay for that. You're always going to pay for them, but not so much. The credit cards have been paid off. There's another student loan here. These end, so the wedding is paid off and so on. And so these end, and we get our cash flow going out forward is quite a bit. And if we take these and we take our total cash flow going out, we can see that that ends up being quite a bit as we go forward. I'm out at 76, 77 years old, and now I've gotten all the way to 98, and you can see there's lots of numbers here. I don't want to make you dizzy in the video, but that's bringing it all the way out to the end. Okay, now we have liabilities. All of the liabilities have been paid off. We don't have any debt at some point. We have inflation here. Now, inflation is really important. We know that a dollar today is not worth a dollar, or is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. So what costs a dollar today costs $1.03 tomorrow, $1.06 the year after, and so on. And that's compounding up at 3%. So it keeps moving. So let's take these numbers out, these dollar inflation numbers. Let's take them all the way out. And the reason I want to take them all the way out is because the inflation numbers are important for relative measure. Because I think when you start seeing big numbers, you'll know what I mean. So, for example, this is your look out for the 401k. Your 401k that you're building up, and this is actually both your 401ks. $9 million sounds like a lot, but you're 92 years old in 2083. Well, that's not going to happen. We're going to have to adjust that. But when you look at $9 million there, what costs a dollar today is going to cost it's either going to cost $7.25 or 7 times as much in 2083, or it's going to cost 26 times as much at 5% inflation. So you can see a big difference in inflation over time makes a big difference. So that's the reason we put inflation in there, so we can have perspective. So we figured out the affordable house. We've got our total net worth. Our total net worth has been negative because we have all those loans. We're going to take this out, and we're going to start to see a positive net worth in here. Our positive net worth means that we're paying off our loans, and by the paying off our loans, we're ending up with more assets. And so the assets minus your liabilities. We have 18,000 in checking, 6,000 in savings. We have 5,000 in collectibles, and our 401k is growing. And so you look at this number here, and you find out that, oh, look, we have positive net worth. It used to be nothing or negative, and now it's starting to grow. And you see your net worth grow. And the one thing we haven't put in here under net worth is we have housing savings. We don't have anything for our house. We don't have anything for our house. We have the mortgage. Do we have the mortgage in here? No, we have to add the mortgage too. Okay, so the way you do your house is you add net worth, you have a house, and then you have a mortgage. So the mortgage is the amount that you owe on the house. We have to add that, and then we have the house, which I'm going to put in here is the value of the house. So you can see that the value is going to go up over time. So we need to deal with our house, and we need to add that to our net worth. The other thing we have to do is up here at the top. We've been working our whole lives. And so what happens is eventually we stop. And we're stopping here in this first initial plan at 67. So we don't have any income coming in here. We have nothing coming in here at all. And so we've started our whole life, or worked our whole lives, and we have income. Our health insurance is now covered by Medicare. 401k is no longer happening. We have no taxes, no take-home pay, no salary inflation, none of that. So we've worked our whole life. We get to the end, we have nothing, which means we have retirement here with our bills that we're paying ends up with a negative cash flow of $144,000. Now, how do we pay for that $144,000? Well, we pay for it from our assets. This is our 401k. Obviously, our checking account is going to start to go into our 401k at or at our savings plan at some point. But we have some assets here, maybe $3-4 million, and we're going to have to start drawing these down to offset this negative cash flow. And this cash flow of a negative $144,000 sounds like a lot. But it isn't. It really isn't, because remember, what costs $1 today is going to cost $3.56, or somewhere between $3.56 and $8.15, depending on 4% or 5% inflation. So we need to take care of that as well. We have stopped our income here. So when you get to this point in your plan, you may want to continue working. There's lots of people that work, into their 70s, doing side jobs and so on. So that may be one way to increase your work if you can't make these numbers pencil out. So let's go back here and start by adding our house. And our house, we started our house where we got our house right here. Okay, was from E85, which was our payment. So our present value of our house, with a $30,000 down payment that we took out of our checking account, we have a $30,000 present value of the loan. So that's a $330,000 house. So we're going to put the house value in here of is it this year? Let's make sure we do it in the right year. Nope, it's next year. Okay, $330,000 is the value of the house. And then the mortgage, the value of the mortgage is $300,000. And our net worth, I'm going to make both these numbers, all these numbers, I'm going to get rid of the decimals. 300,000. The 300. Another interesting note here is the 30,000 we took out of savings to put on the down payment now comes back to us in net worth as just equity in the house. So we didn't lose our net worth by moving it from checking to the house. What we lost was liquidity. So that's an important note there as well. So this is now part of the calculation of net worth. Is that included? No, it's not included. Why is it not included? Because we didn't include that cell when we originally did it. So the one way to do that is you double click this, and now we want to drag this down to include that, and we want to drag this down to include that, and then we hit enter, and now we have a $30,000 addition to net worth. Why is it a $30,000 addition? We added a $30,000 house and a $300,000 mortgage. Our net worth has gone up by $30,000 here, and that's because we took it out of our checking and our cash flow back there when we didn't have kids and we were saving up. Okay, so now we know how those numbers work. We need to take this all the way out. So you could do an amortization for the house. We talked about doing that before. That's no problem. You could do the whole amortization thing. Or you can give a proximity to it. So one of the things that we know is this is a 30-year loan. So this is, you're 30 years old, so we know it's over when you hit 60. So if we just go over here to get to 60, and we go down to wherever the home loan is, I forget exactly what thing it is, we can put a 0 in. And that would be our loan. Let's go back and find out where the mortgage is. Then we go to, where's our 60? Where's our 60? There it is. So we go down here, and this is 0. So we know that that loan is 0 at this, and it's 1 year's payments before that. So it equals this cell, enter. So we know that this is how much our loan balance will be, a year's worth of payments. and the year before, and that gives us an idea of how much our house mortgage is falling every year. Now, this isn't going to work exactly because the total of the payments isn't going to be even, but we can try to approximate it. So I'm going to take this number and I'm going to take the next year and I'm going to subtract, and you really only want to subtract the principal, equals the, I'm sorry, hold on a second. I don't mean to confuse you here. I'm going to subtract the payment from it. And so this equals, whoops, hang on. This equals this cell minus J17. Enter. So this equals the amount that we owe minus the total of our payments. Now, is that correct? No, because we're only getting rid of the principal, which is very high, as you know, in a mortgage at the beginning. And then it tapers off to where we're almost just getting rid of principal. So this isn't going to be an easy way to do it. But you can come close without doing a whole amortization table by adjusting every once in a while for it. So we know that about halfway through the mortgage, we should be about halfway through, and that would be 15 years. So we can adjust for that, and then just every 5 years or so change the number of what the value of the property is. Now, the reason I tell you, or the value of the mortgage is, and the reason I tell you to do that is because it really doesn't matter too much what your net worth is. So if it's off by a little bit, that's no big deal. So we're going to adjust those numbers coming up. And then this number, of course, your $330,000 house, the value of your house is going to go up. So how fast is your value of your house going to go up? Well, that depends on where you live. We have a 4% number here on salary inflation. I think that's probably a low ball number for your house, or at least it is in some cases. But we're going to use it here for this equation. So this equation is equals, and we're going to use our 4% salary number times parentheses 1 plus, whoops, that's where your salary number goes, sorry, J9 in parentheses. And this number, I wrote the formula wrong, actually equals this number. So it's I-59 times 1 plus the increase in the value. The salary number is 4%. So this is a 4% increase on your house. And so that's not a very big increase, but it's conservative, but it'll give you an idea of how far your house value will go. Now, I can just take this number, and if I just keep going, it'll just keep increasing. What I want to do is get rid of those darn decimals because they are annoying. Okay, now I got rid of the decimals, and I'm going to throw commas in here and dollars. So it looks like the rest of them, and then get rid of the decimals again. Okay, now it looks like everything else. I've got this, and I can take this all the way across, and we can see how our house value adds to our net worth. And so here's our end of our mortgage. We have $1 million house now, and we owe nothing on it. So that's adding quite a bit to our net worth over time. You can see how the leverage has made it work. So we're back here. Where's our house? $330,000. We have a mortgage. We need to take this mortgage out over time. So I'm going to go out 15 years. Let's do, we're 45. 15 years now, we're 45. So this is this column, and we're going to do our mortgage, which is this row. Oops. This row, this column. Is this 45? 43, 44, 45. Okay. So now I'm going to say the mortgage is worth $150,000 halfway along. And so if I'm 150 here, and I go back here, I'm 278. So that's about $130,000. So I'm going to take about, let's say, 10,000 off of it each year. We got 21,000 in payments. Let's just take 10 off of it each year. So this equals that number minus 10,000, right? So I take this out, and this should be 10,000 less. And I take this all the way across, and I'm pretty close here to 148. 150, I'm off by a year. That's okay. No big deal. I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to take this out all the way out to here, which makes this number 8,000. It's a little bit less, but that's okay. The amount we owe on the loan is probably not even 2,000 at the end, and that's close enough. So you can see that I just approximated the amount that our mortgage will fall every year. You can do an amortization table and bring it in if you want. This is it's kind of an easier way to do it, I think. But that gets that number all the way out there. Now we have our total net worth. We need to take this number, which is the sum of all of these numbers, and take it out. This number doesn't include our mortgage here, so we need to make sure it includes it. This number doesn't. This number does. Aha. Okay, so that number is correct. Let's take this cell and drag it out, and that gives us a much better idea of what's going on. So we need to take our student loans out. They're gone. The other loan is gone, and this loan is the only one that keeps going. So our net worth is growing quite rapidly across here. You can see when you get rid of your debt, your net worth rises up quite large. And so our net worth is now growing quite a bit. And I get it all the way to where 7228, which is we have no debt, but we have $4 million in our 401k. We have $1.7 million in our checking account, which obviously we need to start moving more of that into retirement savings. And we have $1.4 million in, what is this? This is our, that's our house value. So our house value has gotten all the way to $1.4 million. Something happened here where we lost our house value increasing. So our house value should actually keep, I know what it is. The 4% up here stopped. So if I take the 4% across, remember when you reference cells, you got to keep referencing them. So if I take the 4% across, it still goes across. So we have that. In fact, I'm going to come back here and make a note. Insert comment and get rid of the Microsoft user comment and say increase based on salary increase of 4% above. And that will tell me that I've got a note here that tells you what you were thinking when you did it. Okay, so our net worth starts to grow quite a bit, and we're moving right along. We're only putting $4,800 into our retirement here, but we have a lot of cash flow now. So you can see our cash flow it's tight when we first start having kids, and it grows and grows, and then all of a sudden we've got more money every year than we think we do. So, this isn't a lot of money still. $34,000, $3,000 more a month. And that's not that much money, but it's still positive. So we get all the way out to our retirement, which is here. Where's our retirement? 68 years old. We used to have pretty good jobs. We don't have them anymore. We are $144,000 short in our cash flow, and we have $6.8 million to live on, plus Social Security, to offset that 144. So that's the retirement calculation you do, and we'll do that in the next video.